Hello and welcome to Rarely Rad. Haley and Isabel are here. Is in Canada. Do you have TikTok access?
I don't, and I think it's because okay, so I even went on my settings to be like, "Can to share your location with this app?" And it still doesn't register that I'm not in the US, and I don't know how because I don't even have AT&T in Canada. It's like TELUS phone service. And I'm
There's
not happy
always
about it because I wanted to use my TikTok Shop cash, but they don't have TikTok Shop in Canada, so then I'm like, I hope this stuff didn't just, like, go away, like, it better be back when I'm back in the US.
I have a feeling it'll be back like at some point this week. I'm still recording content. Like I just went grocery shopping and I've recorded my grocery shopping hauls for over a year now. I didn't know. I was like, I have to still record. Like, what else am I gonna do? But these all might go down in the vault and never be seen.
I know, and I took so much footage, being in Canada right now, and I thought I was still gonna have access for an extra week, and that didn't seem to be the case.
Literally everyone posted like the screenshot of the like you no longer have access to TikTok on their stories. And so I posted it was some famous guy. I honestly don't even know who he is. A screenshot of him saying like make sure that you share your TikTok notification. I want to see as many times as possible because I literally woke up to that since I went to bed so early last night and every single story I looked at was their TikTok notification. And I've
Yeah.
had so many people respond to it and they're like, no, literally dead ass. I'm like, this might be my most interacted story I've ever posted. And then one guy that I went to college with, he lives in New York. He actually does like screen printing and he owns his own company and everything. And so he followed me on TikTok and he was like, "You got to move your TikTok stuff over to Instagram." And I was like, "Bro, I can't." And he was like, "It would pop off, Haley." He was like, "Especially like your dating stuff, like you'd have so many guys up in your DMs." And I'm like, "I can't. It's too embarrassing."
And, like, I don't want the Instagram guys in my DMs.
No, I was like, it's the Instagram reels aren't gonna hit my right clientele. And so then I'm just gonna want to kill myself the entire time. And I was like, it's just too professional. I can't do it. But I was talking to him, and like obviously him and I have very different demographics, even on TikTok, because he's doing screen printing and I'm like posting stupid outfit shit. And I was like, it's kind of annoying though, because so far, like literally today, January 19th, January has been my largest growth month on TikTok since I've done TikTok and now it's gone. And he was like, no, literally me too. He was like, I'm finally like have people like asking me about screen printing and doing things. And he was like, I'm getting messages every day and now it's gone. And I was like, cool. So we're all feeling this, even though
Yeah.
you probably make money from it and I don't yet, but like we're in the same boat, brother.
Yeah, no, I'm still trying to build up my TikTok client count. I just don't think people care that much about my life, which is fair because there's not that much going on.
I think you'll the way you are going to create traction when TikTok comes back is your voiceovers because the things you say, it's just like, oh, where did you come up with that?
No.
It'll get in front of the right people. I have faith.
I just don't believe in, like, double takes, so I'm like, "Okay, we're just going with it."
No, me too. And then it's like, especially since I feel like we do like a 2 minute long video. And so you've already done like the first minute and 15 seconds perfect. And then you like say something completely wrong. And it's like, so anyway, keep
Yeah.
on rolling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, people aren't going to notice that. And they obviously do. And you're just like, it's showbiz, baby.
Yeah, I'm like, "Whatever." Like, I'm not gonna redo it.
But TikTok, like I only pull down like on my apps, and so it shows me like my top 8 apps on my phone, and TikTok's still there. And out of habit, I keep clicking on it, and then it's like, "Do you want to close the app?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I do." I can't do
I
anything else.
tried Instagram Reels and, like, Facebook vids, and it's just, like, not the same because it's the same type of content that's like, "Oh, I would go." It's, like, mainly just, like, fashions or things or, like, DIY or, like, where to eat, but, like, all those 400 recipes that I saved on TikTok that I never use, like, now I wanna use them. I
It
wanna
was
start
today.
going
It was actually mid-January 2025 that I was starting to do all those.
yeah, like, this was actually the like, January 19th was the day I was gonna start getting my shit together.
No, I will say last night, so one of my favorite TikToks is that I recently found of that boy trying to put the duvet cover on the duvet.
Yeah.
And I don't if I'm in a bad mood, like I just need to sit down and watch that video like 3 times because it puts me in such a good mood. So I downloaded the video yesterday.
Oh, I
I
was
was
gonna
like,
say you should screen record it. Well, it didn't even TikTok didn't even make it till midnight. I thought it was gonna be, like, a hard midnight cutoff.
no, I saw something that it was going to be at like 8:30 p.m. on like East Coast time. I think it went a little bit longer than that, but it was already starting to get like glitchy.
Oh,
Like
really?
yeah, because I went to bed at literally 10 p.m. last night, so I don't really know exactly what time it cut off, but I remember at one point I woke up like probably around 11 or something and I got on and I could scroll, but I couldn't search or like or do anything.
Yeah, see, after, like I think it was, like, 10:45-ish for me, like, I wasn't able to do anything. I got, like, 1 video in, and then the sign came back up.
Yeah, I saw this funny meme on Instagram earlier today and it was like, I will now be screen recording my For You page for Americans. It's just $70 per an hour. Hit me up if you're interested.
Yeah, I did see that too.
And I was like, honestly, I could see some people doing that. I just feel bad for like that's so many people's livelihoods.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen videos of, like, Alex Earl crying,
I saw so many videos. And then did you see were you on the side of TikTok where it was like everyone like kind of outing themselves for things like and
yeah.
apologizing? And some of them were insane.
I know some of them I was like, you know that girl Meredith Duxbury, the one who was, like, putting, like, 15 pumps of foundation on her hand and, like, basically just, like,
Slathering.
layering yeah, and she was like, "Yeah, I didn't actually use all that." And I'm like, "Yeah, no shit, you didn't."
I saw one too that was like, oh, a workout girl talking about how she got a BBL.
Wow. See, and then honestly, that makes me just, like, lose respect. I mean, it's also one of those things where it's like social media isn't real and you shouldn't see everything that you're or believe
Yeah,
everything that you see, but it's if you're
I
gonna be a
will.
fitness content creator, like, I'm expecting you to be honest about your fitness journey, even if that includes you getting surgery.
Yeah, well, and so she then made like a tell-all, an apology video, and she was like, "Okay, this is what actually happened." And apparently, back in like 2020, she was young and she like was getting all this money, and so she was like, "I made a stupid decision and went and got a BBL." And she was like, "And the way I did it is, I guess." She removed BBLs. I know nothing about them, so I don't know if this is normal or what, but she removed fat from some other part of her body and
Yeah.
she decided to put it like where your hip dips are. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like in the cheek, it was more to make her body more like rounded.
Yeah.
And I guess since it's fat cells, like we always have the same amount of fat cells, they just shrink and enlarge, like they don't disappear.
Yeah.
And so they can die, I guess, in that process. And so in the process of her doing that, not many of them really stayed. And so then she was it
She
her arms or her stomach or whatever? I don't really know.
I know, but is that where the fat cells died? Where sh like,
The
her
fat
fat
cells died where she put them in her legs.
Oh, so, like, in her butt? Yikes.
Yeah, so where her hip dips are, I she was like, they didn't actually end up doing anything. So it wasn't I never thought of it as like a big deal. And she then said, whenever she's posted like her before and afters of like from her workouts, she's like, everything I've ever posted about that stuff is post hip dip or post BBL surgery. So she wasn't necessarily, I guess, lying. It was just something she kind of left out.
Yeah, but now her brand is screwed.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, there was another one, this Lexi Higaldo. It's so weird to see these people too, because like for the longest time, I didn't even have a like TikTok account. I just scrolled on the For You page, and so I
Right.
saw these people, but I just never followed them or even interacted or anything. And so I remember seeing this Lexi girl, and she used to make like these cute little workout, not even workout, like chat videos and just the basic stuff that everyone did in 2020. She went to
Yeah.
FSU, so I thought she was kind of cool for that. But she popped up because apparently, I guess she grew a lot. She used to make like do coffee chats, and like it would be her making this like super sweet sugary coffee, and she'd chat, I guess, with her camera during it. And her exposure thing that she came out saying was that she never actually drank those coffees. And so then people were apparently pissed about that. And she was like, well, and so then she came on with an apology too. And she was like, yeah, I didn't drink them, but I would like make them. And she was like, my mom or my sister or someone would drink them. And I wasn't like just wasting it, but I wasn't. And I think people then just feel lied to.
Yeah, it's just like deceived.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's your brand. And now
Yeah.
it's kind of like, okay, well then who are you? Because I think it's like such a big part of their brand that once you find out it's not a real thing, it feels like half of you don't even know who that person is.
And that's kind of what TikTok was, is like you feel like you know these people.
Yeah.
That's why I mean, I feel like that's why Get Ready With Me's were so popular, because people felt like they were like getting ready together or like seeing insight on their life, when I think people have now realized that's not the reality.
Yeah.
But also like people were doing all these exposures coming out, but like
This
it's not
dog
like
is
social
so
media.
gassy
Ew, gross.
all the time. It's like half the time, it's like every 8 minutes the other day because he's had stomach problems and he comes and hangs out in the office with me and I'm like, it smells so bad.
I feel like when dogs are gassy, it always smells horrific.
It's just so funny dog sitting because they have like a, like a 2 or 3 page, just like instructions and like just the dog's routines and whatever. When somebody's dog sitting my dog, I'm like, just take her out and feed her. I don't know.
I know some people are so specific about things, and then other people just are like, yeah, she just lives.
Yeah, I mean, she's just kind of there. I'm like, take her on like a little bit of a walk just so she gets like out of the house if you're gonna, be gone for the day.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know.
Your dog is very low maintenance though,
She's
compared
super
to
low
many,
maintenance. Yeah.
which you needed. Thank God. Could you imagine you with a high maintenance dog?
No, I'm struggling with this dog. They're like, he'll wake you up every day at 6 a.m. And I'm like, dear God. Okay, so my first experience, I would like to clear backstory on this dog. Him and I have not always gotten along. So, like, I want to say it was like 8 years ago. I was up here and they had, which is now the office used to be, a second bedroom. And I slept there. And they would leave for work at like 6 a.m. and my uncle would come back around like noon or 1. And so I'm like, okay, they're doing construction in the hallway. This dog barked for 6 hours from 6 a.m. until noon. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I'm like bringing the dog into the room with me. I'm like putting him in the crate. Like, I don't know what to do because he just would not stop barking. I'm like, first of all, how are your vocal cords even still running? Like, this is insane. And then I end up texting my uncle at like noon. I was like, how do you stop this dog from barking? Like, I can't do this. And I've like kind of had like a thing against him since because I was like, who barks that much?
Yeah, like what's wrong with you, dude?
And so when they texted me and were like, will you dog sit? I was like, fuck. I was like, no, because I was like, I like to sleep, I was like, I literally
That
was like,
dog likes to bark.
yeah, and he does not. And so I was like, oh, but then I also know how hard it is to get like a dog sitter for like 10 to 12 days, and you don't want to board a dog for that long. And so I was like, fine, like the kind of fine where you're like, and then you're like stomping your feet. You're like,
Yeah.
fine.
And then you can't be that mad because you said yes.
Yeah, so you're like,
it's
I'm like,
just like, why did I do this? And then you're like trying to make it sound better, and you're just like, but why?
yeah, I was like, there will be groceries at least. So like, and there will be a Peloton, so I'll be skinny. Like, I'll come back to the US super skinny. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to be like positive about it. But we've had pretty good success, minus the first day, which I think he just got like anxiety from them leaving.
Yeah.
Like, I took him out, I like came back, took my jacket off, cleaned his paws off, do all the little things. And he runs over to his little pad and then just diarrhea's everywhere. And I was like, dude, we were just outside. Like, we were just outside. And so I was like, okay, well, this isn't good. So I'm like cleaning it up. And then he throws up. So I'm like, oh no. Like then I start cleaning that up. And then he shits again. And I was like, this is a joke. Like this is a joke. I'm like trying to even start work. It's like 10 a.m. because I had to go out early and then I had to do it like a second takeout. And I was like, dude, like I'm not even gonna be able to start work at this point.
I have a job to do, damn it.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. But then, yeah, that's been our only mishap. And he's just been pretty chill since, other than his gassiness. And he's just chilling here. Usually he like lays like right next to like Arya. You know how Arya like has to be touching at all times. It's kind of usually like that, but he's not doing that today. He's been kind of weird today, but
is he like how big is he? Like how much does he weigh?
he's like a little bit bigger than George. So maybe like 25 pounds.
Yeah, I was gonna say about 30 pounds.
Yeah, 30 pounds. He's a small guy.
Well, hopefully, how long are you there?
Next Saturday, so 6 more days.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys have some bonding moments and he acts normal the rest of the time.
Yeah, we've been pretty good since. Just like
There's just the first day nerves.
First day nerves. Yeah, and we were like both kind of like you again, you know?
Yeah. Oh man. It's like when your babysitter shows up and it's like not the one you like.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's literally what it was. Because Katri's like, I know he likes Katri, and he's me. He's just like, God, this girl again. I'm like, dude, I feel the same way.
Like, you're like, oh, so you're picking up the vibes. I'm also picking up. Good.
Because I think like the other times when he'd see me, we were both kind of like, oh, hey. Like, and he'd bark at me and I'd be like, dude, it's you. Like, it's not me, it's you. Like,
one thing I was thinking about now that, not to bring back up TikTok, now that I don't have TikTok, I'm hoping that my screen time goes down. But to replace that, I keep getting on Hinge.
Dude, I keep logging into Gmail. I don't know why.
What's going on in here, people?
Oh my God, what's going on in my email? It's like Experian. Like, like, dude, do you want to know what your credit score is? Like, no, not really. I already know.
No,
like,
I just keep getting on Hinge. I'm like, this isn't fun. Like, why? No one likes this app either. And I said 2025 was the year of no more dating apps. But now that I don't have the TikTok to scroll, I'm like, and Instagram, I don't know, just it doesn't do it for me.
It's not hitting at all. And it's honestly, today it's hitting even worse than usual.
Yeah, I think because it's a Sunday and like there's really nothing going on. And so there's no distractions. You know, it's gonna be tough at work too. Cause like sometimes I need to like get myself out of work and be like, all right, let me scroll for a little bit.
You know what though? I will say I'm hoping my attention span gets longer again because I've noticed with TikTok my attention span just shortens because I can easily just move on to the next thing. And I noticed happening in my real life. Also, I'm hoping maybe my screen time goes up because I'm spending more time on Duolingo.
My screen time is so absurd. I had a friend call me out on it the other day. She was texting me. Oh, she texted me originally to see if I still shop on Shein. And I was like, oh, do I still shop on Shein? Of course, if I'm shopping. And she had realized that my text prior to her was a TikTok and she just never responded to it. And she responded, this was on Thursday. So very recent. She was like, I don't have TikTok. Ma'am, she's younger than me and you're not on TikTok. I'm like, God, I can't remember a day. But I was like, bro, what? I can't even imagine. What do you do with your day? And then I sent her my screen time. My daily average for the week was down 24%. Good. Yeah. The average 8 hours and 35 minutes.
I got mine today. It was 7 hours and 19 minutes. I was like, you know, that's not even that bad.
No, for it to be down 24% and still be 8 hours and 35 minutes, I was like, oh my God. And in that week, my most used app, TikTok, 8 hours and 38 minutes. I was like, oh my God. And then she responded, I was like, what do you do all day? And she's like, I don't know, work, talk to her husband, online shop. And I saw my hours and I said, God, I need to grow up.
I will say though, my fear is that I move back over to online shopping and I would rather spend time on TikTok and have my brain rot than my bank account rot.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And I
Literally, I
think
was
I
like,
was looking at my credit card shows you, like, how much it says, like, I've spent I think it's, like, $600 less at this point this month than I did last time this month, and I had more rad days last January of last month, but I spent so much more, and I was, like, looking, it's just Amazon. I was like, "Dude, I had, like, a shopping addiction." Like, what was I shopping for in
I wonder
January?
if you had, like, a trip coming up or if you're
Maybe?
doing, like, late Christmas shopping. I've been so rad, but again, it's just gonna all backfire when I buy a car, which is hopefully happening next weekend.
But I think I'm gonna have to cut down to just 10 days a month of pasta. It's really not going well. I'm already at it's January 19th, I'm at day 9. I've eaten pasta 9 days this month.
It's almost like your pasta is how I track my alcohol.
I think that's what I need to do though, like, I've eaten pasta 9 I think we've been out to eat a lot, which hasn't really helped, and Italian is always just like a good and go,
See,
you
and
know?
I never go get Italian food out.
I feel like I do it a lot. Or maybe I don't even know if I do it a lot, I just go to restaurants and then they have pasta and I'm like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get that."
Yeah, and then you're at home and you need a cheap meal, so and that's quick and easy to make, and you're like, "Yeah, I'll make some pasta."
Yeah, exactly.
And the next thing you know, all you've had is pasta, no protein,
No, literally my only protein is, like, the cheese.
which can't even be considered protein at that point.
Yeah, no. So, I've been good about it here in Canada. This morning I had eggs and bacon, but I did put some cheese into my scrambled eggs because
You have to. It
you
just
did.
makes them it's like sometimes you think about it and you're like, Is this worth it? Like, will this make this that much better for me to do this?" And eggs and cheese, yes. The answer is always yes.
And I
It
also
makes
only
that much
added,
of
like, a little bit just to give it, like, that cheesy flavor, not to, like, because I was like, "I don't wanna, like, be eating cheese and eggs even though that's what I really wanna do. I wanna be
Yeah.
eating, like, eggs with cheese." So I was like, "Hey, sprinkle," like
Have, like, the teaspoon measure.
yeah, I ate, like, it was, like, the shredded cheese, so I was just like, "Beep, beep, beep," and I was, like, sad.
I wish there was more. I just got back from the grocery store and I got a ton of different meals. I will say I did buy a beef stroganoff thing, so that's pasta, but everything else, no pasta. I got a spaghetti squash, but that's a vegetable, so that doesn't count. I got stuff to make tacos, got salmon. I was like, I'm about to be the skinniest person in the world.
No, I'm gonna be so skinny.
Like, they're not gonna be able to see us on the camera anymore.
No. I was thinking, though, I was like, "I gotta go through their spice pantry to see what seasonings they have because I have a feeling that I might just end up with ground beef, salt, and pepper."
No, there's no way. You don't think they cook?
No, no, they definitely cook. I just don't know, like, because I every time I make, like, tacos, we make them, like, Asian-y styled, like, soy sauce, like, Worcestershire sauce, and, like, white rice vinegar, like, that makes them, like, an Asian style, and then we'll just,
Yeah,
like, top off, like, standard.
interesting.
I don't know, I doubt they have all that stuff 'cause I saw soy sauce, but I mean, like, the other ingredients aren't really things that you, like, just have in the fridge.
I feel like Worcestershire sauce people usually have.
Maybe I'm gonna chat GPT and just be like, "These are the ingredients that I have, what do I do?" 'Cause they
Well, you
definitely
could always actually make them Mexican based and just use like cumin and chili powder and stuff.
Oh, I did see cumin.
Yeah, so just use cumin and chili powder. There's no way someone doesn't have that in the kitchen. If they don't have both of those, then like they have never cooked a day in their life.
Spices are just so expensive too, and it's one of those things where it's like, because I make my taco meat, like, Asian style, I don't, like, need that stuff, but I do need it for other
I
stuff.
I'm just the person like I get on Pinterest. I find a recipe that sounds good. I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'm going to make this." And then I look at the ingredients list and it's like 15 ingredients because obviously there's like the main things and then there's all the spices. And I'm like, don't have that one, just won't use it. Oh, don't have that one, just won't use it. Oh, don't have that one, just won't use it. And the next thing you know, I come out with the most bland meal ever. I'm like, I fucking hate cooking. Why do I do this? And I'm like, I followed this recipe. Why is this so bad? And then I'm like, oh, because you didn't actually follow this recipe. You used 7 of the 17 ingredients.
And 2 of those are, like, salt and pepper, like
Literally. The salt, the pepper, the meat, and the pasta. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, Why is there no flavor? Oh, that's why. I did it today in the grocery store. I knew I wanted the spaghetti squash with I was doing the ground turkey. And so I searched it in Pinterest and found a recipe. I was like, perfect. This is what I'm going to do. It had so many seasonings in it. And I was like, not going to be using all these. I'm just going to buy the main 4 and call it a day. And that's what I'm going to do.
Think about going by Greek yogurt.
According to Wikipedia, strain yogurt, Greek or Greek-style yogurt.
Who is that?
Alexa, stop. What? Because they have like celery, cucumber, carrots, apples, and like I could make a really good smoothie.
Oh yeah, I didn't know where you were going with that. I'm just not a Greek yogurt girl.
Oh, I love Greek yogurt. And then they have honey, so I love to do like Greek yogurt, berries, honeys, and like almonds. That was like my favorite thing as a kid.
Greek
I need to get
yogurt,
back to that as an adult.
it tastes like sour cream to me.
Bitter
Love
taste.
sour cream. So like I can get taquitos, love those. I can eat taquitos right in some sour or in some Greek yogurt because it tastes the same. I used to back in the day force myself to eat Greek yogurt every morning for breakfast, and I'd have like Greek yogurt with some like craisins and like sliced almonds. I put so many damn toppings in that Greek yogurt. There's no way it was healthy anymore because I don't like the taste of it that much.
I see. I think for me, the honey is what makes it good because it gives it like that sweet flavor. Because I feel like if I eat it plain, I don't like it. If I add the honey, for me, that's what makes me like it.
Yeah, I can't even remember if I used to add honey sometimes. I just remember I did it every single morning, and it was like one of those things, when you're eating something and you don't like it, so you're just like having the largest bite ever, and you're just like just swallow it. That's how I was every
And
single
you're
morning.
just like eating it. You're like, this isn't even fun. Like I'm
No,
not.
it's like you like have one bite and then you're like chugging water and you're like, get it down, get it down.
Yeah, you're like,
You
this is
know,
not fun.
it wasn't good at all. Yeah, I have also been on Facebook a little bit more lately. I don't know why. I wish I had a reason why. But this boy, I feel like people that go on Facebook are like the people from our high school that like got married and have kids.
Yeah.
Like they love that stuff. So this boy that we went to high school with, he has a kid, and I did my research just so I would know his correct background. He has a kid. The kid's like kind of grown now, like definitely like second grade or so. And he just got engaged back in August. I'm assuming to a different woman, not baby mama. His Facebook had to be hacked, but he posted a status 11 hours ago at 11. So it was at midnight last night. Someone had to think this was the funniest thing ever.
Was it the urine one?
Yes.
I know exactly. I saw it too.
Okay, listeners, this is what this status says. Okay, I have a confession to make. I've been drinking my urine for about the past year. For anyone that's never tried it, it is truly life-changing. I feel so much better than ever. Hashtag urine therapy.
Yeah, I saw that. And
What?
the thing is like knowing like those people, like I don't really know if he was hacked. Like I'm assuming he was, but part of me is like, I don't know.
It was just like so weird because it's still up. Like I literally saw it at 11 a.m. today.
Yeah.
So why is it still up? It was like there's 2 likes on it. There's
Yes.
1 comment, and I'm like, what is happening here?
Also, like, aren't we a little past that phase in our life where we're stealing each other's phones and like putting a face?
I think
like, isn't that like a
you and
very
I
funny?
are. I think people from our hometown that like had kids and stuff, I think they might think that's still funny.
That is wild. Like I can understand like you'll take like not even on Instagram, it's like Snapchat, you take like somebody's phone and you'd be like hacked and put it on their story.
Yeah.
But I haven't done that either in years.
No, I mean, I just remember like people getting on like someone's Facebook and being like, Isabel is the bestest friend ever. I would give my whole life to her. She's so hot and funny, and I wish I was her.
Yeah.
But like, we're like almost 30.
I know.
Like that's
I
not
forgot
funny.
he had a kid too.
Yeah. So that's how I know, like, he had to be awake by 11 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, that kid's what is yeah, that kid's they're up.
They're up.
If I'm up
And you
with the dog at 7, you're up with your kid.
Yeah. And so I was just like, what is going on here? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm glad I don't get it. I think I will say I went to church again this week. Go me, 2 weeks in a row. Just New Year, new me. There were so many kids in there, and there was this little girl, and I was like, I just want to take her home. She was so cute, and I was like, there she had like a little bow in her hair, and she was just so happy. She was quiet like the entire time. She just kept staring at me, and so I just smiled, and she kept looking at my nails. I'm like, do you like this color? Like, are we besties? And I like, oh, there was just so many of them. And then I was like in the like single person row. It felt like there was like a boy next to me that was there by himself, like my age. And then there was a girl to my left that was also there by herself, about my age. And then I couldn't really figure out her story though, because she came in and then it was time for communion. So everyone like stands up and gets in line. And obviously, like
Yeah.
if you aren't Catholic, you just don't really go up, or you go up like with your arms crossed, whatever. It doesn't matter. But before it's our turn to go up, I see her on her phone and she's calling an Uber.
Mhm.
And so it was and that's what happened. She like called an Uber, and then it was our turn to get up and like go get in line. And she got in line, but like was kind of awkward for a second. And then she turned around and walked out. And then wasn't back in our little seating area. So I guess she left. But I was
Kid
just,
in an Uber by themselves? That's like
no, it wasn't a kid. It was an adult.
oh, I thought
No,
you were talking
yeah,
about the little
she was
girl.
our age.
Oh.
Yeah, this wasn't a child. But it was just very odd that like in the middle of church, she then called this Uber. And then I was like, did she Uber to church? But then like, if you care enough to Uber to church, like wouldn't you wait for communion and do all that?
I don't know.
It was very odd. And I was just like, trying to understand what's going on here. But no, not the child. I mean, the little girl couldn't even walk. That would have been really weird.
I was thinking like this girl was like 5. I was like, dude, I would never let my 5-year-old just like get in an Uber.
No. There were a lot of kids there, but no, this was a person that was probably about our age. So it was normal for her.
My friend was saying she went to church a couple weeks ago, and she's like, oh, I left right after communion. And I was like, there's still like time left after that. She's like, yeah, I just didn't feel like staying. I'm like, okay.
A lot of people do. I don't really understand. Like, I don't know. I remember growing up and like waiting to see if our parents are going to want to leave right after communion, or if we're going to stay for those like 5 minutes that are after it. And so you just kind of like sit there and be like, all right, like we'll follow whatever mom and dad do. Like, okay. And you're like kind of praying that you'll leave early because you think you're leaving so early, even though you're literally missing the last like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember doing that, but I just don't really get it. I'm like, just go back, go sit down. It takes like 5 minutes. It's not like
maybe the parking lot sucks.
That's what I was kind of thinking, but like we're in a parking garage, so like it's not that bad. I don't know.
And if you have an Uber, then you don't have to even go into the parking deck.
But she didn't even stay for the communion.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was brunch, you know? She was trying to
We went to 9 a.m. service though, so here she is pulling out to brunch at like 9:50 or 9:40.
I mean, maybe she has to be there at like 10:30. I don't know, you know?
She's like, I have
I get it.
I know, I was sitting in there and I was like, dang, I wish I was like one of those people that then like afterwards was going to brunch, but I'm not. I went grocery shopping. I'm like, this is boring. But that's, I think, because I'm accidentally doing dry January now. I just have to commit to it at this point and be dry.
I think it's so I just lost my train of thought.
I'm like, all right, brain.
What were we saying before that?
Dry January?
Oh, the brunch. Sunday brunch crowds. Like, for like restaurants with the church Sunday brunch crowds, like those are notoriously known for being like the worst people.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Wasn't it with you at Treehouse when we saw those girls?
Yeah, I mean, being a hostess, like during Sunday brunch, like thank goodness they gave me Sundays after that because they were always so rude. They were like the people that would tip like 5%. And it's just like, you just went to church.
Yes. They gave all their money to the church.
Yeah, and now they're just like rude.
Yeah, they can't tip anymore. I mean, that's where I've always said, like, there are godly people out there that don't attend church.
Yeah.
And there are very ungodly people that do attend church every week.
Yeah, I feel like it's more, you'll find more of like the people who are ungodly going to church because they like to, you know, like kind of be hypocritical. They're like, oh, well, I go to church, so I have an
It just
excuse.
makes them feel better.
Yeah.
Like,
And then they're like,
people,
oh, I went to confession and now I feel better. And I'm like, okay, well, you're still a
Dude,
dick.
I was sitting in church and I don't know if I'm getting sick or what's going on because I've had a headache for like 4 days now. And I'm like, I wore this little sweater, not a heavy sweater at all. And I'm like, my heart rate is elevated in church. And then I'm like, are these the sins like sweating out of me? I haven't even been really sinning, but I'm already at 36 minutes of working out today. I've done nothing. I just
you don't need to work out today.
I looked down at my watch at one point in church and my heart rate was at like 128. And I was like, what's going on? I know I'm not having alcohol sweats because I haven't had alcohol. So what? And then I was like, am I sick? Especially because then my watch was like, your resting heart rate is elevated more than usual. And I was like, what's going on? I can't handle this. So then when everyone's doing like the peace be with yous and like trying to shake hands, I was like just looking at them like with my hands clasped together because I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I can't get sick in here and I can't get anyone else sick. So I'm staying to myself.
I mean, you've been having headaches the last few days.
I know. And so that's where I'm like concerned. I'm like, is this a sickness coming on? Because my resting heart rate is usually like a 60. And then when I'm getting like more in shape, it'll be in the 50s. And it's been around like 57 the last like few nights. Last night, 65. I was like, I'm dying. And then of course my headache hasn't gone away. And so I'm like, do I have a brain tumor?
Do you still have a headache today?
I did earlier.
Today's the first day I haven't had a headache since Wednesday, and it's Sunday.
So I had it earlier, and then I realized and I had it while in church. Like I was standing there, and I was like, this is kind of miserable right now. Like I'm sweating, I'm hot, my heart rate's elevated, and my head's pounding. Sounds like I have a damn hangover. I don't. And I've been so tired too. Like going to bed at 10 p.m. That's Haley O'Connell, not me. So I'm like, what is going on? And then after church, I went grocery shopping and I realized when I parked at the grocery store that I no longer had a headache. So I'm thinking maybe that was, I don't know, but I do know I was starting to blame the headache on the change of weather because literally last weekend we were freezing. We got snow. We never get snow in Atlanta. We got snow last weekend. Then this week it's gotten so warm where yesterday was like 65 degrees. This morning we were still super warm. I didn't even wear a jacket to church or anything. By the time I left church, our weather had already dropped like 15 degrees. And now my headache's gone.
Yeah, I was blaming mine on weather change, and then I was like, maybe it's alcohol withdrawals. Because I just don't know what it could be. Like I've taken so much like Advil, Tylenol, like
I don't think we drink enough for us to be having withdrawals.
I mean, my December was rough, but I think it would have been like, I am sweating. Like, I don't know. My only thought, but I feel like the withdrawals would be happening. They're happening so late. They're happening like 10 days later. Like, no, it would be like 5 days later.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it. And then I started thinking, I was like, are these like caffeine withdrawals? but I don't drink that much caffeine. Like, yeah, I'll be an Alani girly, but like I don't have an Alani every single day.
See, I even got like caffeine withdrawals if I drank caffeine 4 days in a row. And then the fifth day I would get a headache and I was like, am I getting like a withdrawal?
Yeah, and that's why I'm like very specific of when I have my Alanis and everything, because I like if I have like 3 days in a row, I'm like, ooh, gotta cut it off now. Like I don't need to get used to having one of these every single day.
Yeah.
Because then it's not gonna work. And I love how an Alani makes me feel because I feel like I'm on like crack.
Yeah, it's like Adderall.
Yeah, and I've never done Adderall, so I don't
It's
know.
the same feeling. It's where you're just like, ooh, okay. Like-
No, literally, I mean, I remember one time I had like a nitro cold brew and I was like, I feel drunk. I'm so alert. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
I'm like,
ready to go.
yeah.
Something I also saw, I saw this, I've had this note written down for a few weeks now, and I just keep forgetting to bring it up. Have you ever had, okay, and I don't understand them. Have you ever had a caviar bump?
Caviar bump.
Yeah, that's what everyone keeps calling them.
I've never had caviar, like real caviar.
Me either. And I keep seeing it all over social media.
Yeah, it's like huge all of a sudden. And I saw baked potato at the restaurant I was at last week in New York with caviar. It was $110. I was like, dude, I'm not paying $110 for a baked potato.
Literally, my note in this for the podcast is I don't understand caviar bumps. I don't think it's in my tax bracket.
No, it's not. It's like real caviar is not in our tax bracket.
But I've been seeing them everywhere. Like people are like, date night, wouldn't it be date night without some caviar bumps? And I'm like,
I want to try it really bad, but I'm just not like rich. Like maybe I'll like splurge on my 30th birthday and go to a restaurant where they have caviar and try something little.
The fear is spend all that money. I hate it. Now
I feel like I'd like it though because it's like seafoody.
My other fear, spend all that money, love it. Now I want more. I can't win. I can't win with the caviar bumps.
Yeah, I know they have like cheap caviar because I looked it up on Amazon and it was like, oh, you can buy this stuff for $30. I was like, oh fuck yeah! And then I was
we have like it's like the same as like imitation crab.
No, it's like when you get sushi and it's like the little balls on top. Like they call that caviar, but like that's obviously not real caviar. I bet you that's what it is. When you get
I thought that was like called Tobiko.
What?
Something. I thought that was called like Tobiko or something like that.
Yeah, some people will. Yeah, that's technically what it is, but some places will refer to it as caviar. I'm like, okay.
Is that like the texture of caviar and stuff too? Like the
I don't
same
know.
as
I've never had it.
True. I just know like Fudo has one sushi roll that has a shit ton of those little balls on top.
I don't
And
like
we like have that roll X'd out. Like we got it once and we were like, never again. We're like flicking off all the little balls. And so then my concern is like, okay, everyone fancy loves caviar. I'm like, I don't like those balls though. So am I gonna like caviar?
I know. I don't think it's the same. Oh, you know what? I should try it while I'm here. It's cheaper here. No, it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
There's like a Nobu right next door.
But you've already been, so.
Yeah, I know. And there's also one in New York. But the one here would be cheaper because it's CAD.
What does that even mean?
Canadian dollar.
Oh. I haven't been to Canada since I was like a child. So I know nothing about it.
Yeah, everything's a lot cheaper here.
And when I say been to Canada, I mean I was at Niagara Falls.
Oh, so you were on the US side?
No, I think we crossed over to the Canadian side. But we didn't have passports or anything. Like it was that long ago.
Oh. I don't know how that works without a passport. I mean, I've only been to the Niagara or Canada side. The US side is like creepy looking. It's like a Lemony Snicket book. It really is.
I haven't been in some like literally since I was a child, so I couldn't even tell you. I just remember wearing ponchos and like getting wet.
All right,
seeing the giant thing.
What, dude? You want to go out? Oh, so Austin came up from like Thursday night, so basically Friday morning to Sunday, and then he got a text saying that his flight got canceled.
Why did it get canceled?
They said weather conditions. I'm looking at the weather and there's like nothing going on. I'm confused.
Meteorologist Isabel says
yeah.
it looks fine.
Everything looks fine. And like they didn't say it fast enough, so the flights were like at 6 a.m. and it was gonna be a layover in Chicago. But obviously we didn't see that part. Like, so he had to call because it's United. He had to call them and they couldn't get him on until Tuesday, which is rough because my sister leaves Monday.
So what happens?
Well, we're working on that right now. I texted my sister. She's like, I just got out of church. She's calling American Airlines because I talked to her earlier and she was like, I've been able to move it before. I was like, worst comes to worst, there's a place called the Pawfice next to us. PAW FICE. We haven't been yet, so I don't know what kind of records they require.
Yeah.
But if you need we've never boarded her before though. I mean, she'll be fine. She's like pretty
I think she literally wouldn't care.
I think she'd be like, I mean, she'd probably be like a little concerned and like she probably wouldn't be like happy about it, but like she'd be fine, you know?
She'd probably just be like, oh, where am I?
Yeah, I don't know. She's not very like concerned about, she's very just like low maintenance.
Yeah.
But my concern is more just like if they require like all these vet records and I can't get a hold of the vet and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. And so the other plan would be your sister move back her flight one day.
Yeah. She's hoping that American Airlines will just move it for her and she doesn't have to like do any like payments or extra anything like that. And she's like, I just got to talk to my boss, but I don't think he'll care if I just have to work remote or something.
Because Austin's supposed to be in the office too now.
Yeah.
And he's just
gonna be remote.
Stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
yeah. So because he was remote on Friday.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So he's just gonna be remote on Tuesday because his flight's like later in the afternoon, so he's technically a half day.
So he'll work remote Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, he's remote Mondays anyway. Well, we're off on Mondays.
Yeah, I'm for some reason I'm not.
That's weird. It's like frowned upon now for companies not to be off on Martin Luther King Day.
Dude, literally work was such an absolute shit show on Friday. So it was so bad. I literally come into the office and I can hear, I have two coworkers. Well, one boss, one coworker. I hear them yelling at each other.
Nice.
And I'm just like, And I like literally, I'm like in the showroom, so they can't see me because our office is like behind the wall.
Yeah.
But they obviously hear me come in. And so I like don't really want to walk because I can hear them yelling at each other.
Yeah.
And then our boss was like, Healy, you can come on back. And I was like, okay. And I trot back there and I'm like, it's like that meme, like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, no, literally me. I walk in and I'm like, and he's like, I'll catch you up. And she's like, she's already caught up. Her and I have already discussed all of this. And I'm like, so what's going on? And then we have this discussion. It goes in freaking circles. And then sometimes you just have to put an end to a discussion because it's now just going in circles.
Yeah.
Nothing else can be done. We just have to, everything's out there. Everyone process and let's move forward.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go open up the showroom so we can sell some damn samples because I need a freaking bonus because I need to go buy a car. So I walk out of the showroom and I open up the doors. They close back up our office. Our office walls don't even go up to the damn ceiling. So then they're both going back and forth at each other. I'm in like the showroom selling samples. I'm like, hey, welcome in. Here's our $5 rack. They're just going at it. And I'm like, oh my God, please make this day go by faster.
It's so awkward.
It was not fun. Then she was in a bad mood the rest of the day. And then he doesn't understand delivery. And he kind of knows that. Like, and so then she's like still processing. He doesn't understand why she's still processing. And she's like, it takes me a second. And she was like, I'm not like Haley. Haley can move on from something like this very quickly, and I can't. Like, I have to take a second to process. His response is, then why don't you go home and sit in your thoughts by yourself?
Oh, see, that would piss me off.
Yeah, exactly. Those weren't his exact words, but I can't remember, it was a D word, but it was like, go
Decompress.
home. No, it was a short D. I can't even remember, but whatever it was. And so then she's even more annoyed, and he's like, now he's saying this and stuff. And then she was like, well, I'm not leaving Haley here by like, what, like, I'm not leaving her. And then apparently he rolled his eyes, and I was just like, oh my God, get me out of here now. With that all being said, I feel like if Friday wasn't absolute ass, we potentially could have been like, hey, it's MLK Day. Let's work from home. But since Friday, everyone was so on edge, we have to go in.
That sucks.
And it's going to be even less fun because, like, they're both on two totally opposite political ends, and it's the inauguration day. And I'm like,
Oh.
please just get me. I'm like, please get me through this day as quickly as possible. And I'm trying to be dry this January now. Don't lead me to drink.
Don't be the first
Don't
reason.
be the reason I have to be dry a whole nother month at some point in 2025. Let me be dry this month, and please just act civil and nice.
Dude, I have to figure out how to watch the national championships.
Yeah, it's in Atlanta, and even this morning I saw a bunch of Ohio State people. Oh, and the priest also at the end of mass, he was like, I don't watch like American football, and he was like, but if I did, go Irish. But yeah, there's a lot of people here for it. One of my friends, she called me last night to try and get me to go out, and she's like, Haley, it's national championship weekend. There's so many hot boys out tonight. Come on. And I was like, tempting. I like this argument. I can't do it.
Was there a
She was
reason you didn't want to go out yesterday? You're just like,
It was one of those things where it just like slowly got later and later in the day. And then I
Yeah.
was like, it's later in the day. I could, and this weekend was my deciding weekend of like, do I go full dry for the 30 days now, or do I do it some other time? And since I didn't do anything Friday, I was like, okay, so then I'll leave it up to Saturday. And my headache was pounding last night. And so I finally was just like, I'm not in the mood to do anything. I'm not in the mood to get ready. And I really like don't want to drink with my headache already hurting.
yeah.
So I was like, well, whatever. I'm not going to do anything. And so she called me, I want to say at like 8:30. And I was like, I'm not going to lie, girl. I just got in bed. Like, I can't do it.
How many days sober are you now?
I think we're the exact same. The last day I drank was January 4th.
No, my last day is I'm 13 days.
Oh, well, whatever mine was, it was the 4th.
I drank on the my friend left on the 6th, which means I drank on the 5th.
Oh, well, the 5th I think was when you did the rodeo.
Yeah, so I drank on that day. Yeah, so I've been tomorrow's
So
2 weeks.
I was the 4th, so I'm now 2 weeks in one day.
Yeah, 15 days. Yeah, so you're halfway there.
Yeah, so that's kind of my thought. I'm like, I might as I just got to keep going at this point, and so that was part of the reasoning why. I don't know. I guess I'll turn on the national championship tomorrow night. I think like I made a TikTok about this, but like every morning I'm like my fear factor, and tomorrow like I'm dreading work. It's not going to be fun, and it's so dumb to dread my job because like I literally play with clothes.
Yeah.
And I don't make enough money to like dread my job.
Yeah.
Like one of my friends last week, like since it was gift market, we worked until 5, and he was like, "Oh wow, worked until 5 one day, already bitching about it." And I was like, "I'm not paid enough to work until 5." And he was like, "Yeah, you're not wrong."
Yeah. Yikes.
I just can't. But I do fear. So since I have started playing on Hinge more, and a few weeks ago, I think it was a few weeks ago. It was like maybe January 8th. This boy, so I went to middle school up here, obviously, 6th and 7th grade, and then I moved to Florida. And there was this boy that was like my first ever crush, I think, in like 6th grade. Basically, we did cotillion together. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
But and that's in elementary school, but he went to a whole different elementary school. And then we got brought together in middle school, and we had so many classes together. And I was like, I think he truly was like my first ever crush. And my friend Tori used to like always be like, Haley, and I was like, no, I can't talk to boys, because they scared me. And so a few weeks ago, January 8th, he followed me again on Instagram. And at one point he followed me and I just like never followed him back because I was like, why am I going to follow this boy back? And then he followed me on Instagram, and then I saw that he liked me on Hinge. And I was like, I'll follow him back on Instagram and I'll see if he says anything, but like not trying to be on dating apps or anything and stuff. And so I ignored it. And one of my prompts on Hinge was like, this year I really want to. And I said, learn how to golf. I got clubs for Christmas that have still not been used, which now is just recycling because I got them last year and they still haven't been used. But now it looks like I got them this year, whatever. But he responded to it and was like, let me take you. And so I just let that sit there forever. And then last night I was like, I'm bored. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to now go accept this because he's clearly not going to message me on Instagram because it's not been like a week. And so I responded and I said, oh, so I see why you added me on Instagram with the eyeballs emoji. And he responded and he was like, says who? Maybe I was just curious about your life. Ha ha. And I said, randomly curious 83 years later. I like it. He goes, he was like, haha, you're telling me you didn't feel the connection in 6th grade social studies? And I was like, wait, so you were feeling it too?
Dude, what if you guys were in love in 6th grade?
Dude, I said, so you're feeling it too with the little smirk emoji? And I said, no lie. I think if someone had asked me who my first ever crush was, I would have to say you. And he actually just responded. And he said, wow, that is such a high honor.
To be fair, it is.
And he was like,
well, like, wait, oh my goodness, I like boys.
He said, well, then can your first crush take you to dinner soon?
Is this about to be the love of your life?
Did I meet the love of my life in 6th grade?
That would be cool.
And we're coming together at 29 years old. But yeah, so maybe I have a boyfriend.
Maybe isn't like March usually your boyfriend time? I feel like you go.
No, usually it's January and it ends in March.
Oh, I couldn't remember if it was March or May.
No. It usually starts in January, and then I find out they cheated on me in March.
Yeah. Okay.
So really, we're right on track because so today's the 19th. I met P the 21st of January.
Oh, so this is perfect timing. We're back. We're back, baby.
And then
I'm ready to get hurt again.
The one that cheated on me while I was on the ski trip. Yeah, we started dating like January 13th. And then I was on the ski trip like March 23rd or something.
Dude, we're right. This is perfect timing.
It truly is. Like I run the 3-month little situationship every January to March, and then I'm single the rest of the year. I have a hot girl wild summer because I'm like, fuck this. This was not worth it. And then I am fat and trying to get it back together by the end of the year.
Yeah, so we've got to figure out maybe we start this guy in February. Maybe we start this guy in March.
Well, what do I do? He already asked me to go to dinner.
No, so we start dabbling now, but we don't make it official until March.
So actually, most of my relationships have been cursed. The last 3 all started in January, and they were 3 months long. So we just got to take this really slow.
Yeah, like these first 3 months are crucial.
Yep. Well, we'll see. I might be getting married later in 2025.
Oh my god, I can see it. Your birthday? No, it's a wedding.
Yeah. Well, and I want to get married in April, so I guess we gotta wait. We would have to move really fast now.
And move really faster. Yeah, yeah.
He won't even have time to cheat on me then. So yeah. So who knows? We'll see. I might be engaged and married by next episode.
It's
Oh,
yeah, or cheated on.
yeah, or cheated on. Also, y'all, we're not totally positive if we even can edit this episode.
Oh yeah,
So,
shit.
so because of the TikTok ban, our editing platform CapCut is also low-key banned. So you might get this late, you might get this raw, unedited version, or we'll have to see. So stay tuned. We'll talk to y'all later. Like, comment, subscribe, send us love, and
Venmo.
TikTok. Bye.